This is the most important section of the entire course. This is my Mr. Miyagi moment where to you, you might just think that you're spraying a piece of paper, but actually I'm teaching you how to read saturation. And this is the quickest way from you being a rookie in the industry to you being like a tanning veteran and having that confidence. By you knowing how to read saturation that's going on all of your clients' skin, this ensures that you are producing the same level of quality for everybody that comes in to see you, versus the opposite of that is just looking at the bronzer that's going on their bodies, which can be a really bad habit for a new spray tan artist. So let's get into it. So go ahead and get out your tent. This is going to be the easiest way to hold your paper for you. Start with the blank side first and just take some packing tape and tape that up there. And then when we're done practicing with the gun, getting the feel of it, then we're going to flip it over and work on the model. There's 3 factors that play into a perfect spray tan with your gun. This is not just a point and shoot situation. Your speed, your distance, and the settings on your gun all play a part. It truly is an art when you're spraying them. So we're now going to master that art. The speed that you want to go is kind of like a dance where you're going 1, 2, 3. We don't want to go too slow and you don't want to go too fast because that affects how much saturation is going on the body. The distance that you want to be away from the body is about 4 to 6 inches. If you're too far away, your fan is super wide, and if you're too close, your fan is really, really short and you're going to have beading on the paper and it'll be too wet. Your gun settings need to be at that perfect little in-between. The fan pattern when you're spraying, you want that to be about 4 to 5 inches wide. So the settings on your gun, if your gun is up too high, your fan is going to be too wide and you're going to be beading solution on your client's skin. And if it's turned down too low, you're not even really going to be able to see it on their skin. You always want to make sure that when you're spraying your gun, that you pull the trigger in motion. What this does is when you're spraying, you don't get any start and stop lines. So with your eyes, wherever your eyes hit, that is going to be your trigger point. So off the sides of the body or your paper model, I call this negative space. You always start with the gun in the negative space. And then as you drag it onto the body, let's say you go to hit on that shoulder, you're going to pull the trigger while the gun is moving. And then when you come off of the body, you're going to pull that elbow back and that's going to have it fade. Almost think of it as going down a slide at the end. Make sure that you're never leading with the tip of your gun because that's going to draw lines on your client. Always lead with the cup of the gun. This helps you so you can manipulate that fan pattern as you're going down the different curves and the different sections of the body. But then when it comes time to do the mini contouring, I'm going to teach you how to break some of those rules so we can draw the lines. When it comes to spraying the bottom half of your client, make sure that you're always bending down to meet their level. You want to make sure that you're keeping your gun level always, not bending your gun to reach the client, because this changes the distance that your gun is away from the client and how much saturation is getting on them. When we're overlapping, think of it as kind of like vacuum lines. When you're pulling that, you want to make sure that you overlap each spray little by little to make sure that you're covering all of your sections. The feather technique is when we're starting in that negative space and we pull that gun and then we use our eyes to find that trigger line and then pull quickly. It just makes sense when you just pull the trigger and it feathers. There's a couple of different things that you're going to do in your whole spray routine. There's the U. This is where you spray under the girls and under the booty. The Y, which is where you're avoiding the armpit and you're spraying the sides of their torso. And then there's the X that you're going to use on their hands and their feet. So now this is the section that you're going to break the rules I just told you. We're actually going to lead with the point of the gun and you're going to turn that in to where those natural shades are on your client's body. Not everybody is going to have the same thing. So you have to really customize that to whatever the client has in front of you. I like to shade in the sides of their stomach, contouring them some abs. And then if they have that definition in the middle, you can go ahead and turn your gun all the way to the side and use that feather technique of pulling the trigger just a couple of times, and it'll draw that line to give it definition. If they have it, contour it. Now, I noticed for me, when I offered full body contouring, I always had clients that would book the appointment that I couldn't contour. And I hated that feeling. I hated that I was going to have to tell them that they couldn't have something that they essentially wanted. So what I did is, this is where I developed the mini contouring to go into every tan that you customize for everybody. You can contour everyone's cheekbones. You can contour everyone's collarbones. Lots of people already have calf muscles, and you can shade in their torso. So that's what we're doing here with these sections. But if they have more definition, let's say in their biceps or in those abs or in those hips, you can go ahead and darken those spots and add a little bit more contouring. That's where you just get to customize it for every person. Now, this is the part where you're going to send me the Marco Polo to pass off this section. Make sure that the model side is taped up to the tent. And what I'm going to be looking for in this section is that you don't have any start and stop lines, that your speed is that 1, 2, 3, that your distance is great, and that you have that pull back at the end to fade on those wrists and at the bottom of your model. Once you practice a little bit, then go ahead and send that to me, and then I'm gonna give you critiques back. Some tips and tricks, little things that I see. Make sure that when your phone is set up also, before you send me the video, that I can see you, that you're not directly in front of your paper, that I can't see the motion that you're doing. And then once you've heard back from me, you might need to refilm it, but then I'll let you know if you passed it off and can move on to the next section and send me your next Marco Polo in the videos coming up.